Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at, get up here, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the Nintendo Switch. Now, Nintendo has known to do some collaborations with other companies before in the past with some of their IPs, and some of them have been some hit and misses in some areas, though. I will say they collaborated with Namco to do Star Fox Zero, which was an okay Star Fox game. Not perfect, but okay. Of course, we all remember last year when they teamed up with Platinum, which would have done well had they not forced the god-awful motion controls in it, which I'm still a little bit teed off about that, and I still think it's unnecessary to have that kind of motion controls scheme in there. To them teaming up with Namco again, of course, with the Wii U and 3DS version of Super Smash Bros., which turned out to be really well. To teaming up with Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja with Metroid Other M, which tended to be very controversial for a lot of Nintendo fans, although I didn't personally hate it as much, though. I didn't think it was as good as the Metroid Prime series, but I didn't hate it as much as other people did, but that is my opinion, though. But they had hit it off with success with, say, Hybrid Warriors, one of my favorite warrior games out there, and I'm certainly looking forward to the upcoming Fire Emblem Warriors. So when I first heard the rumors floating around about this, the idea of Mario teaming up with the Ubisoft Rabbids, I didn't know what to make of this, though. The idea of one of the most iconic video game characters of all time teaming up with the Ubisoft's Rabbids, which, while they are funny, don't get me wrong, have really been reduced to just nothing more than a bunch of mini games collection. I feel that sort of is a wasted potential. Outside of the one only good Rabbid game that I ever played, which was Rabbids Go Home for the Nintendo Wii back in 2009. Outside of that, there weren't really any other Rabbid games that had interest to me. So when I first heard this rumor about Mario teaming up with the Rabbids, I did not know what to make of it. I did not thought, was this going to be a mini game collection or anything like that? Then reports started to come out of it being like a strategy RPG. Some even went as far as calling it similar to what Fire Emblem was, although I'm not 100% sure how accurate that was. And then, of course, the artwork started to leak out, and some people were flipping out over the idea of seeing Mario with a gun, and some people really did not like the idea of it. Then the E3 trailer was shown, and people's opinions started to change, and they were thinking, this might be good. And now the game has finally been out, and I have to say, after spending 2 weeks with the game, it's actually good. It's surprisingly, what this is an idea of a game that you didn't think could work, actually did. And I've actually had some very fun times with the title, though. Excuse me. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons? Let me get my notes out right here. All right. So why don't we start with the first pro, though? The first one I want to point out is the visuals. I would like to say I definitely love the art style, the looks to the game, though. I know it runs on the Snowbound or Snow Engine. If I'm saying the name wrong, I apologize. I'll make sure to check that and make sure to put that up there. But in either way, it looks really good. I love the art style. I especially love the designs of the Rabbids, especially some of them dressed up from Nintendo characters to several different absurd characters. But overall, the visuals are very, very nice. The next one I do want to point out is the gameplay, and I think this is probably the game's strongest point, though. Basically, there are two parts in the game. There's the exploration part and the combat part. The exploration part is that you basically move your character around and do some of the puzzles, some of which you won't be able to do until later on in the game when you unlock a new move, so you will have to backtrack. But there are some interesting explorations and hidden goodies and secrets. And then, of course, there's the combat part, which follows very closely to how XCOM is normally played, though. However, there is a bit of a twist, and some of that comes with the team jump and the dash move. The dash move, where if an enemy is in your sight, you could run up and sort of dash and take out some of their hit energy rather than just, you know, move to a corner and shoot them with your gun or cannon, although you still do that in the game. The other one is the team jump, where if you move your character to one of your other allies' characters, they can make you go a little bit further than how you would normally go in the game. So it adds a little bit of twist to the XCOM formula, but for those who have played XCOM, for the most part, it follows a similar route. It's a tactical shooter or tactical strategy shooter that focuses heavily on the cover-based part. So if you're into those kind of games, you'll probably like how this one plays out. Alright, the next one is the music, and I have to say, I really do enjoy the music. I think Grant Kirkhops, if I'm saying the name correctly, does a really good job with the soundtrack. I remember him doing music from one of my favorite N64 games, Banjo-Kazooie, and I really love his style and his approach to a lot of the songs. So I definitely am a big fan of it, and so I've really enjoyed the music though. And finally, last but not least, I have to say, and maybe this is just me, but Peach Rabbid is awesome. I don't know how to say this, but Peach Rabbid is awesome. I love how the rabbit really got into Peach, even going as far as carrying him or herself or whatever that thing is, to the regular Peach, and to even going as far as taking selfies and all. So, but I will say the humor in the game is very funny and all. But overall, Peach Rabbid is awesome. Say what you want. I like Peach Rabbid though. Alright, we're going to take a bit of a break. When we come back, I'm going to give you my cons and my thoughts on the season pass that is for Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and my thoughts on the whole idea that now it's clear that Mario isn't a plumber anymore. So we'll take a bit of a break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our review of, if I could get it out, there it is, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the Nintendo Switch. Alright, so now that I gave you part of my I'll give you my thoughts on what I liked about the game, now we're going to go straight to the cons and with the areas I don't like. We'll start with the first one, and this is one that kind of pains me that this is in the game, but unfortunately it is, and it's something that has to be pointed out, and that is some performance issues, I'm sorry though. And while the majority of the time the game runs perfectly fine, at least based on my time with the game, there have been occasions where I've ran into several different issues. Some of the cases ranges from animations sort of slowing down, maybe when you're activating a certain character's move. There have been cases where the animation has dropped below where the game supposedly runs at 30 frames per second. There has been another animation with the clouds where if you move your character in a certain area, the clouds sort of do an odd animation at the top. Whether that's an Easter egg or a bug or glitch, I don't know. And I will say, when I played the game in portable and tablet mode, there were times when I ran into a situation where the game would freeze for a little bit, for maybe like 2 or 3 seconds, and then the game would continue on. Again, I don't know what the issue with that is, but unfortunately, overall, there are some performance issues I ran into. Hopefully, these issues will be ironed out with maybe a future patch or anything, but it is something that has to be pointed out based on my playtime with the game. One final thing on the performance issues, there have been some cases where some YouTubers or some people have pointed out where the game simply just kicks them out, like they've been booted out of the game before. This has happened to me before with other games as well. I remember one time that happened to me with Final Fantasy 15. As far as I'm aware about this game, based on my playtime so far, I haven't ran into anything, at least not yet. So I don't know 100% sure if I will run into that or not, but as far as I'm aware of, I haven't run into anything like that at this time. So, performance issues, well, not hugely terrible, and it hasn't impacted my time with the game. There are some issues that I really hope Ubisoft and Nintendo will iron out with supposedly an upcoming patch. The next one is the co-op mode, and I will say that I haven't tried the co-op mode yet, but I do welcome that. As you can see right here on the back of the cover right here, if you can see it, you could basically play the game in co-op with another person, which is nice though, don't get me wrong, I think that's a good thing. But at the same time, I will say it is kind of a missed opportunity to have sort of an online mode, whether it's excuse me, ooh. Whether it's, you know, an online multiplayer match or even anything else. Like what I've heard, some people would love to have seen a map creator on it though. So I will say, while it's nice that they have the co-op mode, I will say it's sort of a missed opportunity. Third one I want to point out is, of course, is the characters you could have on the screen. Unfortunately, in the game, you can only have up to 3 characters, which not huge issue, but it would have been nice if you could have more than 3, because so far, based on my playtime with it, basically Mario is the only character. You can't switch him out when you go into the combat section, and you may find yourself in a situation where you may have to rely on either Peach or Rabbid Peach, since they tend to heal characters, although there is anytime to use that move, there's sort of a cooldown period though. Same with the other characters, where if they use their special move, there's sort of a cooldown period. So unfortunately, the game puts you in sort of an odd place where Mario is your main character, you gotta have him in there, and you sort of have to make sure you have like a healer in there. So it leaves only one slot to use any of the other characters, like Yoshi or Luigi or Rabbid Mario or Rabbid Yoshi. So it is somewhat a little disappointing that they don't have an option to have like maybe more than 3, like maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. Maybe they'll do that if a sequel happens though, we'll have to wait and see. But it is somewhat disappointing that there's only 3 characters you can only have when you go into the battle part of Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And last but certainly not least, at least for me, is the humor, which this one's going to depend on your taste. Some of the humor in the game may not appeal to a lot of people, and a lot of it, based on my time with it, has been mostly toilet humor. There's one scene where a rabbit is on a rubber duck that's basically in the middle of a toilet, to a scene where a rabbit is sitting on a warp pipe reading a newspaper, and they mention that this rabbit is trying to make log cabins, which I'm pretty sure you get what that reference is. So it's sort of awkward to see toilet humor into a Mario game and all, and that's going to depend on your taste. Some people may not have an issue with it, others might. So the humor, again, while I won't call it a huge negative, might not appeal to a whole lot of people. Overall, Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle is still a fun game, nevertheless. It's a bizarre concept to happen. And as bizarre as it is, it manages to work. The humor will probably not appeal to everybody. It's going to depend on your taste, but the visuals of the game looks nice. The gameplay follows an XCOM and adds a little bit of twist to it. The music is also pretty awesome as well. There are some issues with it, and hopefully if a sequel happens, they'll maybe iron out some of that stuff a little bit better. That's my phone, don't worry about that. But overall, I had fun with this game. I didn't think that I thought this was a weird idea when rumors started to go around with it, but I'm glad it came to light. I'm glad the game is as bizarre as it is. I'm glad that it did well. Here's to hoping that the game does well enough that Ubisoft will support the Switch even more, with maybe some other games as well. Here's to hoping that perhaps maybe we'll get a sequel, though. I would be open to that. And last but not least, here's to hoping that 2K takes notice of this and maybe they'll consider bringing XCOM 1 and 2 over to the Nintendo Switch. It's a long shot, I will admit, but hopefully it does well. This game right here does well enough that it might convince them to consider bringing XCOM 1 and 2 over to the Switch. Alright, before I end this video, I want to talk about basically the season. Basically 2 things I want to talk about are shoot, here we go. Alright, basically before we end this video, I want to talk about two things that have recently pop up. First one is the season pass, and the other one is a recent controversy. So we'll start with the first one though. First one to pop up is basically the season pass part. Now for those who are not familiar with it though, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle will have a season pass. The game, basically, from what I understand, will cost $20. Basically what will be in it will be 8 exclusive steampunk weapons, which will be available since the game's already launched. That one's available right out of the gate. Sometime in fall this year, a new solo challenge and co-op map, and sometime in 2018, a new unexpected story content though. Again, I can understand not everyone is a big fan of season passes, as we've seen how those have been handled though. At the same time though, $20 isn't exactly bad. I mean, it's not perfect. I understand not everyone's a big fan of season passes though. So $20 isn't exactly perfect, but it certainly is better than, say, what EA did with Star Wars Battlefront, which they charged $60 a game for a multiplayer only with little to no content, to basically what they did with Fire Emblem, and Nintendo did with Fire Emblem Echoes, which, although that game has a lot of content though, $40 was probably asking too much for that one though. So we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out in general. Alright, let me see if I can close this. Alright. Okay, and last but not least, for this last part though, I want to talk about recent comments that people have had over a decision Nintendo has made, which is basically the announcement that's Intel that Mario is no longer a plumber, or at least he used to be a plumber. It was posted on several different sites, and ever since that announcement came out, some people have sort of kind of flipped out over it. Some going far as saying first breadsticks, now Mario's no longer a plumber. Some people saying their childhood has been ruined. Some networks have picked on it and sort of made it maybe too big of a big deal. Fox News, then again, this is Fox News we're talking about, a network that uses fair and balance to basically promote a right-wing agenda and all that stuff, are now calling and saying, is this politically correct or anything like that. I'll be honest with you though, as odd as that is, as odd as Nintendo's decision to no longer make the most iconic video game character plumber anymore, or he used to be a plumber, it's not a big deal. I mean, yes, it's an odd decision Nintendo made, but it's not this big deal to be made about it though. So I think a lot of people are kind of overreacting over something they really should not have overreacted on this though. So I personally think a lot of people are blowing this way out of proportion. I will admit, it's strange. It's odd. It's odd that Nintendo decided to do this. This isn't the first time they did this though. I remember when the Koopa Kids were making an appearance again in New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and they said that the Koopa Kids are not Bowser's children, which seems a bit odd because I remember from Super Mario Brothers 3 they referred to that about the Koopa Kids were Bowser's kids or anything like that. So I'll admit, again, it's an odd decision for Nintendo to do, but it's not something to lose sleep over. And I think some people are just blowing it out way out of proportion, okay? So, bottom line, yes, it's an odd decision, but nothing to lose sleep over. Okay, this concludes my review of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the Nintendo Switch. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? Have you picked up Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle yet? And if so, have you enjoyed the game? Have you not enjoyed the game? Do you want to see more of these type of games come to Nintendo Switch? Would you like to see a sequel? Would you like to see Mario maybe team up with other video game characters out there? And what are your thoughts about the Season Pass? Are you okay with the Season Pass, or are you not okay with the Season Pass? And what about the whole thing about Mario not being a plumber? Do you think it's a big deal, or do you think people are blowing it way out of proportion though? Do you agree with this review? Do you disagree with this review? Do you agree with my take on the season pass and Mario not being a plumber? Do you disagree? Do you have a different opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it, and I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description. And also check out some of the Facebook groups that I'm part of as well. Again, links will be in the description. You can check those out. And this concludes my video review of Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle for the Nintendo Switch. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Till then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day. Bye!